Greetings and salutations. Greetings and salutations to the bloodline. It is cut this off. I hear an echo. So yes, good evening. This is Salima Ellis, matriarch, goddess, homeschooler. We here to. I don't know if this is really going to be long. I wasn't trying to make it long, but I had posted something earlier because I was reflecting, and the reflection had me thinking about a lot of the things that I have been through as a young indigenous woman on the realm, and a lot of what I had gone through as a woman, especially being the elder sister, the older sister of younger siblings. And when the anyway, let me slow down for a second. The name of this lab is Black Women Are Not Taught Self-Preservation. And we are not taught self-preservation. I wasn't. I was taught to preserve the family. As the oldest sister, you're required, as the oldest sibling, especially if you're a girl, a woman, you are required to babysit, cook, clean, do whatever's required to help your single mother keep the family together. Understand that most young women are not taught self-preservation because at an early age, a lot of us had broken homes, or even we had two parents in the home and the fathers were not active. So it was still left on the older young girl to help out, change diapers, cook and clean. Like at 12, I could cook a full meal. I could cook for everybody in the house at 12 years old. So I wasn't necessarily taught self preservation. I was taught to preserve my family. And that's where we, as the Black community, go wrong with our young women. Because I recognized that when I started raising my daughters, that I didn't want them to be in service to the family, because guess what happens? The family becomes ungrateful. So now that the person that is the next matriarch, which is usually the oldest, next female, be it aunties, uncles, or siblings, oldest sisters or brothers, that isn't appreciated, them motherfuckers don't care. I learned that the hard way, okay? So because I was not taught self preservation, I suffered a lot in my life because I was only taught how to preserve the family, which means as an elder sibling, especially as a young woman, while mama's at work getting her degree, going to school and getting her degree and going to work so she can pay bills, you have to cook, clean, make sure everybody's home with homework, and all these things. Now imagine having to do that at a young age, 8, 9, 10, 11. That puts a lot of stress on young Black women. So now you're not preserving yourself, you're preserving your family. Your self preservation goes out the door because now you're helping your single mother help preserve the family, which is maintain the younger siblings. And this becomes detrimental to our health as women because we're always seen as the caregivers. And then when we need care, everybody's looking stupid like, well, this is what you do. No, this is what you are. This is not who I am. No, I am Salima Kenyatta, but I do care for my family, but that's not my existence. That's not how I'm meant to be identified. So we suffer as young Black women in this paradigm. And it began, I can tell you exactly when it began, when the riots started. Because after the riots, that's when the men were forced out of the home. So now not only are you forcing the men out of the home? You're forcing someone who has the ability and the mindset to care for the children that they made. So now that you've put the black man out of the home, the 50s, 60s, and 70s, you have young black women like me who came up who were the aid to the mother. So now I'm not in self-preservation mode, I'm in family preservation mode. Because a lot of men that left usually left to go make other families. Black men are not loyal like that. A lot of them that left quickly made other families. It's like if they don't have access to your mother and her vagina, you don't exist either. So that is the reality for a lot of young black women who are my age who came up during this time where we're not taught self-preservation. We're taught preserve the family. And preserve the family isn't just cooking, cleaning, homework, and all that other stuff. Protective services better not ever knock on that door while your mother's away. Police better not ever knock on that door while your parents away. So can you imagine the kind of pressure that puts on a young child? So now we're not learning to have self-preservation. We're only learning to preserve the family. So now the family comes to me whenever they need somebody whoop ass. We do all of these things because we're preserving the family, but then we're left out in the cold as the women who have done all these things for the family. And I say that to say, learn self-preservation, because the minute you start self-preservating, having your own ideas, having your own goals and needs, and follow through with them, where the family can no longer use you. Because the family will use the oldest, the babysitter, the job, the money. They will use you up, and then when you're ready, they'll tell you, "Oh, I'm not in it." Whatever excuses that they leave, I'm distancing from you because now you're toxic because you want something in return. So don't ever let people tell you that love is unconditional. My love has conditions. Yep. Because another thing about not having self-preservation is people will take your love as being unconditional because they feel you're not going to preserve yourself. You're going to give everything you have to your family so that the family can be preserved. And the family is brothers and sisters and their children, nieces and nephews. You see what I'm saying? So it never ends. So your family literally takes advantage of you without caring about the consequences that it has on your mental state, your emotional state, your physical state, your health, your soul. And then when you're seen as grumpy or something like that, oh, my sister just evil. No, motherfuckers. I've been taking care of a lot of motherfuckers for a long time, and it has gone unnoticed and unappreciated. So if you have an older brother or sister in your family, especially the one you know had to do all these things which I've just previously described, which is not have self-preservation, but to learn how to preserve the family so that the family stays intact. And that also means that there are those of us who have been molested, and to keep the family intact because what? Niggas kill molesters. They niggas kill molesters. They keep the family intact, keep that we keep our mouth shut. So we have, when we say we're out here healing, we mean that. There's a lot of people out here that really need to heal and just love on themselves and let everybody else figure it out. Let them figure it out. There's nothing wrong with letting people figure out how to preserve self because someone else's list of how to preserve themselves may be different from you. Everybody's lifestyle is different. What I need as self-preservation is different from what another woman would need or another person would need or another ethnicity would need. So in order to understand self-preservation, you have to understand being comfortable in your own skin. Loving the skin you're in enough to say and do things that make you authentically happy, that make you authentic, that keep you in authentic bliss. Because happiness is, good, giggles, but you have to be able to harness the energy that keeps you authentically in bliss. And taking care of your family, that's a good family, a good feeling when your family is well fed, taken care of. But we, at some point, we have to be willing to authentically care for ourselves. How do you preserve yourself when you've never practiced self preservation? What does self preservation look like? And how do you continue it? You see, so those are the things that we, as Black women, we don't get to have these conversations, and we don't get to always have these, we don't always get to have these conversations and solutions. People can have these conversations all day, but what are the solutions to helping those of us who have moved past the age of minority, and now we want to come into the age of mental majority, emotional majority, where we say, hey, okay, that was the past and I want to learn from it. But how can I take all the mistakes I've made and put those ingredients together to become someone who knows how to preserve myself, who knows how to preserve my life? What are the boundaries and foundations I have to put down to create self-preservation, self-preservation moves in this world? That every move I make will not be depleting. Because as Black women, when you start at 8, 7 years old, taking care of siblings, cooking and cleaning, being denied other things other children can do because you're being taught how to preserve a family and not self-preservation, you're lacking in where you become lacking in that skill. So people could always come to me if they wanted a defender, because when it comes to defending my family, I'm gung ho. But then there were times when I would be bullied. People like, well, damn, you could just beat their ass, and I would be like, no, I'm tired. I don't even care what they're talking about. As long as they don't put their hands on me, I don't care. Because why? I haven't been self-preserving. I've been preserving the family. That means don't let nobody bully my siblings. So I might be fighting all day. I still got homework, cook and clean. So these are not acts of self-preservation. These are the acts of someone who's put in a position to preserve their family. So how do we get those who have been put in that position from before they were even 10 at times? How do we get them out of family preservations into self-preservation so they don't become deleterious and exhausted before 50? Because they often do. They're missing out on a lot of things because the family has become the priority. Instead of the father being there, now the sibling, the oldest sibling, or the next oldest sibling, depending how the dynamics of the family runs, is in charge of helping the parent maintain and preserve the family. So that depletes from our self education, our self awareness as self preserving individuals. Because now the only time I think of self preservation is that somebody else needs me. That's not self preservation. Believe it or not, that is a me wanting to stay alive because somebody else needs me is not self preservation. That is still dedicated to the preservation of a family or someone else. And people will try and keep going to take care of other people and delete themselves, literally delete themselves by depletion, by ignoring health signs, by being mentally fatigued and not saying anything. I'm okay, it's okay. So Black women have been put in this state for so centuries. Black women have been the backbone of preserve the family, preserve the family, preserve the family. Keep the lies, hold the secrets, preserve the family. You can do without this. You can do, they need it, they need it, they need it. So with the new 2024, we are going to dig deeper into self preservation. And this is what I was saying about the eclipse. The new libraries are us. Every family that really is worth speaking about has their own library. They have their own books. They have their own Bibles, believe it or not. Real back in the day, our people had their own Bibles, literally like damn near made for their family. Literally. Muslims did too. They would have their own Quran or their own Bible literally made for their family. Like that was one of the first things you saw on their bookshelf, unless the mother kept it like a lot of women do on their altar or in their room on their nightstand next to the bed, because a lot of us like to read the Bible before we go to bed. But a lot of them had a family Bible that was literally, I mean, their name was on that Bible. Their name was on that Quran. So that's what you call family preservation. That's the preservation of the historical events of the family. Okay. But where do we go as the caretakers of the family when it's time to rest and rejuvenate ourselves? Because that time has come to an end where we're doing the preservation of family. Because my preservation is based on the fact that these videos and all the curriculum that I create for my children and grandchildren is so that they will have this knowledge to look forward to in the future. Because I'm aware that people have a tendency to let elders expire, you know, based on whatever. They're not ready to talk to the elder. They don't know how to talk to the elder. I know I'm an intense elder, so a lot of my family have made it clear to me, you know. But I'm very outgoing also. But before a lot of my elders passed, and my last elder passed this year, well, one of my father's last sibling passed this last year. So fortunately, I was able to get pictures and like talk to him and just spend time with him and learn how to preserve historical family preservation, which also had me delve deeper into learning how to preserve myself. Excuse me. You know, kids just don't give no damn, gives no fucks about what you doing. So yeah, so when I start going after my family tree, because I knew I wasn't going to do a DNA, and I started learning my family history, I got as far back as 1700s, and I was like, this is amazing. This is amazing. And this is where I was talking about Black culture, because I noticed in my family line between my mother and father, there were a lot of adopted siblings and families, and it wasn't no damn court papers. They brought that baby straight to the house that of the family that was gonna raise them. Okay, so yeah, you shouldn't be adopting our people. I'm gonna keep saying that again. And the only reason why you got them is because y'all fucking wicked system. For all you that came on and wanted to criticize our people for not having our own kids, y'all know y'all wicked, y'all system wicked, y'all kidnap our kids. So back to the thing is that a lot of what I saw in the family is that there was no court. Like my grandmother was adopted. My mother's mother was adopted. There's no court papers. They got up, took her to her fucking auntie house, and that was the end of the story. That was it. She was raised with her cousins. There was no see, and this is where they get our people. So we have to start learning self-preservation. So, black women, what do we do to start preserving ourselves? What does self-preservation look like for us? Because we know how to preserve the family, and that's not always working either, especially if we fall. We can't fall. If we fall, guess what happens? The people in the family that have the money need those with non-tangible. See, I'm non-tangible in my family. I give up the non-tangibles that they don't appreciate until I'm not around giving it up. And then you always have people in the family that make a lot of money. There's people in the family that just love everybody, just come on through. So there's always different aspects of the family. I'm a non-tangible aspect of my family, but I'm always needed, required, and desired for some reason. What do I do to preserve myself so I won't feel wrung out? You start saying no. You start saying no. Say no. And that's not easy for us because we've been taught that a good woman doesn't say no. A good woman is going to find a way to make it happen. But why do I have to make it happen for people that can make it happen for themselves after a certain age? Right. Why do I have to have it make it happen for people who could you know, do a lot of the things, their own health care, a lot of the things that I get, you know, called for, herbalism, the knowledge I have. My family members still call, hey, do you know about such and such? Of course I do. I'm always 10 steps ahead of my family in the knowledge. And I do mean all of my family. You might say I'm bragging or whatever. Y'all been up here listening to me. I'm just that bad. My family calls me when they ready for some real knowledge, they call me. And that's the only time they really call me, when they really need knowledge or some type of healing, because that's what I do. And at first I used to be upset about that. And I'm like, they never invite me. And I'm like, really? When I think about it, I don't go to where they go. I don't want to be where they are. So when we're learning self-preservations, do you really know what you like? Do you really know where you want to be? Do you know what you really want to do? See, and that's a part of self-preservation, incorporating you into your daily life path. How do I incorporate all the parts of me into my daily life's path so I will have preservation? And I don't want to be some funky preserve when you open up the jar, oh, it needs to go. No, I want to be fully well preserved. No meds. No, none of that. I just want to be a fully well preserved person. So, how do I incorporate the best parts of me into my life's paths? What do you enjoy? Because you have to have some kind of joy in your life if you want self preservation. And I often find that what brings me joy has nothing to do with, there's nobody that enjoys what I enjoy. The things that bring me joy don't involve anybody else. So, as a woman, you have to understand that you are so uniquely authentic when you sit down and begin to take um, assets of yourself. What are your assets? What are the best parts of you for you, not other people? What are the best parts of me for me? Because that's what I want to build on when it comes to self preservation. Okay. What are the things that I want to invest in when it comes to me? What parts of me do I want to invest in now to get the greater outlook of me later? Self preservation. Greetings and salutations to the bloodline. Greetings and salutations. I love to see y'all as always. So, when we're talking about self preservation, what are the parts of me that I enjoy the most? What are the things that I like to do that I don't need anyone else to do it with? You know, some people like to go for a walk. Some people like to go jogging. Me, I'm a library baby. I love to be in a library. I can sit down, pick up a book 500 pages. If I leave that library in 4 hours, I read that book flat out. That's how I read. I don't care what it is. If I'm in it, I'm in it. It could be 500 pages. If you give me 4 hours, I'm done. So those are the things I like to do. And the one thing that I love to do more than anything else is dance. Is dance. And a lot of my family don't dance like me. They don't. They don't get down like I do. I mean, we want to say we're enlightened beings and blah blah blah. I want to go shake my ass every now and then. When I want to go detach from teaching, detach from being a mama and a grandma, I gotta go dancing. And I love that here in Detroit, there's a new movement where you can go to these clubs. They're not alcoholic now. Not alcoholic clubs, no drinking, no smoking, just great music. And I love house music. I love hip. I love it all, but I really love house music and reggae. Any chance I can get out and go do that. And that helps like build me up because it's a form of meditation. Often my mind won't empty on its own. There is no like laying down, blah, blah, blah. I don't do that well. But when I go dancing, I'm on a frequency, a vibratory frequency where I'm getting downloads like crazy just from going dancing. And I know it's not just the dancing, it's my mental state and the frequency, the vibrational frequency that I'm in tune with the music. And I feel like the more I dance, the better I dance, the more the downloads come to me, which is why they want to control the music. Because when I was going to a regular club when I was younger, I could dance all night, but I wasn't getting any downloads because of the music. Now, when I went to the nightclub, when it was reggae night, I would get downloads all night. Why? Because reggae music, a lot of it had that political and spiritual freedom message in it. So if you're out dancing and you're feeling good, and the music that you're listening to not only has you vibing and dancing good, but the message is so uplifting to the mind, body, and soul, now you're on a flow. And you can stay on that flow. And you use that flow to pull into your life and to draw upon that, because sometimes it feels like you're wearing yourself out because you've been dancing. I mean, I would dance till my thighs hurt, the sun come up, and now I'm headed home. You see, but now I have enough energy to be on the flow wave. That which I seek is seeking me. So self-preservation has to come with a seeker. If you aren't seeking, you might know everything. You might become bored with this world. So because I'm always seeking, I'm bored. I'm always in some type of flow state. Because I'm always getting downloads, I'm always in some type of flow state. So part of my self-preservation has become my Akashic records, my flow state of knowledge, because that's where I want to be. I want to be in a flow state of knowledge, of gaining power, of learning the realm. So that was my self-preservation. This is how I saved myself when I was looking around at the world, like wow, like what's really going on here? why is this happening around the world? Well, the Great Divide was meant to happen, and I'm loving this. I'm loving this Great Divide. I love this as women. Y'all should be loving it. I love all the topics out here. Oh my God. It's just a great time to be a woman, which is why I think I really wanted to put this out that Black women have not been taught self preservation. We have literally been taught to preserve the family, to preserve everyone else around us. And this is our time to take inventory of who we are, take inventory of what we've accomplished, and let's celebrate that. Don't let the fact that people don't appreciate what you have done bring you down. You celebrate it. If your family is still in one tag, well, god damn it, you did a great fucking job of family preservation. My family's still intact. They ain't perfect, but they still all intact. All my brothers and sisters I had to raise up, I had one sibling pass. You see, and her children are doing well. So it's like, don't pat yourself on the back. No, it is never easy to be the second parent as the child to your siblings. That is not easy. So give yourself a pat on the back. The self-love, people. And like I said, take inventory of the best parts of you that you love. I don't give a fuck. People might say to you, that's irritating. You too aggressive. You too that. If that's what you love about yourself, that's part of your fucking collective inventory. Because now we're going to build self-preservation, because this is a new day and age for the Black woman, in the AKA Black woman. We know we're indigenous women, and this is our time to self-preservation. We've given everything to the realm, and we continue to give because this is a new day and age. Um, yeah, this is a new day and age, and it's time to do self-preservation. So I didn't want to keep this too long, and I wanted to build this topic up. Hopefully, next time the sisters will come on, the goddesses and the matriarchs come on in, and let's talk about self-preservation. Because those of us who were born in the generations where we had to take care of everybody, we were our mother's backbone. And a lot of us were abused during that time. We took a lot of abuse. And a lot of times we didn't even realize it. We thought this shit was normal, having to do this, and it's not. And so this is why we have this great divide between the sexes of the indigenous man and woman. Because Black man, you left your young precious Black daughter to raise your children. You effectively said, if this bitch ain't gonna give me no pussy, fuck y'all. And they effectively left their oldest children to help raise their siblings. And they did not help out financially. And you know what the fuck I'm talking about. So all y'all want to hop on, no, I don't want to hear that shit. If this ain't for you, then scroll. It's a scroll. Because all of you people with two-parent homes, let me tell you something. I ain't impressed with you motherfuckers. Most of y'all was Christians, and y'all Christianized y'all little Christian kids who came out and terrorized the rest of the world, and did the work of the missionary white man in the Black neighborhoods. Y'all little sons was terrorists and rapists because y'all taught him in the name of Jesus, no matter what he did, rape, pillage, and demean little Black girls in his own community. It would be all right in the name of Jesus. So fuck y'all if y'all think y'all gonna get up here and talk about single Black parents. I will rip you a whole new one. Okay, so don't come up here with that, because it was Black men to this day. Some men are still killing their own children for nothing. And I don't mean crimes of molestation and all of that. I mean that they have no clue how to fucking parent. And they're so busy being dogmatic to their own children, they're killing the kids, which is a lot of times why there are single Black mothers. Because we're so tired, we don't even know that we've had children by these ops. So yeah, black woman, hold on. I'm telling you, my birthday is May 19th, and I don't know what it is, but that energy is banging. Something about that Taurus energy. I'm seeing more posts. I'm seeing more things about the melanated goddess. Okay, like what we go through. Like this whole world right now is on my shoulders. It's on my shoulders. Why? Because when this shit crashes, y'all need an education. And unfortunately, the indigenous, aka black man, is still addicted and attached to white colonial knowledge. And he's gonna try when the big cataclysm comes, when the separation comes, to keep educating us based on that. They won't know how to relinquish that and let the goddesses, the matriarchs come in who have a natural relationship to the realm, because man wants to build man-made things. So women, goddesses, black women, in the realm of self-preservation, build up your spiritual, your mind, body, and soul. Like I said, I have curriculum on my homeschool page. Feel free to look at it, go in. If I check it periodically, if you leave me a message, I will get back to you. If you go in, you can also see my email, salimasknowledge@gmail.com. Salima, Salimas, Salima's Knowledge, KNOWLEDGE. Matter of fact, let me put that up. hmm Yeah, we have to get into the habit of self preservation. The first time I moved outside last year, I cried. I mean, I was in tears. Like, I was so happy to be out of a house from up under people. It was fucking amazing. And then I stayed for months until it just got so cold I had to come back in. That, you talking about self-preservation? You talk about self-preservation out in nature, waking up to deer and coyotes and just, man, man. And to be able to do that for like 3 months, like just 3 months straight, be out in nature, sleep outside. And people are like, what about the people? Man, the people wasn't thinking about me. No man was thinking about me, no woman. I was good. The only people that was thinking about me was the animals. And we was cool. So that is one of my assets that I don't mind treading with other people. I'm afraid to go. I don't mind that. That's part of my self-preservation. You see, because in the realm of keeping my family preserved, I couldn't do that. I had to stay within those bounds, within the boundaries of. Uh, there's nothing that I can do that should lead the police or protective services to our family's door. So that's a form of family preservation. That isn't self-preservation. So that means there's nothing I can say or do that would cause my mother distress while she's out here trying to make bread and butter for us. Go to school, because my mother did go to school. She went and got her diploma, and she did work at the same time, sometimes 2 jobs. So that left me at home as 8, 9, 10 years old, caring for siblings, cooking, cleaning, homework. Where's the life of a child? You don't have one. So when we have all these issues within the Black community, we don't want to ever bring up all the nuances that make these issues within the Black community. And one of the reasons why we have these nuances and issues is because the bias policies that are written, that are always in place to make sure that any misstep we take, the children will be taken. the police will be called. And that is something that young black women have been going through longer than young black men. See, young black men be getting to talk about when you encounter the police on the street if you out driving and stuff. But young black girls like me, we were getting to talk like, hey, while I'm at work, while I'm at school, better nobody call me. The dinner better be ready. Homework better. Everybody be better because she not coming home by bedtime. So black women, like I said, as young girls, we aren't taught self-preservation. We are taught to preserve the family. And that leaves you lacking. And people can see that you're always taken care of. This is another trap. When you're young men can tell, and even older men can tell too, how you're caring for your family. And instead of them respecting you and say, damn, she just finished taking note, they want to hop right on you and make a family with you because they see your skills. They see the state of your siblings, the state of your family. So, ladies, these are the older ladies. We giving y'all the keys to the kingdom. Beware of men watching you take care of your family because they might want to pounce on you. They won't give you a break. You see what I'm saying? Once the last sibling, no, all of a sudden you raising your whole own fucking family. So learn to give yourself a break. You want to remain celibate if you can before your last sibling gets out the door so that you can enjoy yourself. Because a lot of times we don't get that. We finish helping our mother raise our brothers and sisters, and now we're turned around. We're right back in a relationship where we're now raising our own families. We's tired. We don't want to do this with y'all no more. So yeah, let's get back to learning the skills that we need so that we can take our people to the next level. Because we're getting hit with a lot of knowledge right now. The religious folks, the censoring men. It's so many issues within our community. And it's not going to stop anytime soon. But we have to be ready as the matriarchs and the goddesses to take the lead when shit start to hit the fan. Because I've been up here searching for the men that are going to lead in the next generations after the cataclysm, after the great separation. And it's frightening because they're all religious and they all have this thing where they want the woman to service them because they truly believe that's how it's supposed to be. But things are about to come to a head because I don't want my daughter to face what I had to go through. I don't want them getting married young. I don't want them having children young. I want their lives to be their lives. Yes, I believe in abortion. Yes, the fuck I do, even with 3 kids. Because why? With 5 kids, why? Because the way this world has treated the black woman, the black single mother, definitely has been stomped on, spit on, dragged, everything you name it, everything by everybody across the realm. And I don't want that for my daughters. So I have a daughter who's 20 who ain't even thinking about having kids or nothing. She's a fantastic artist. You've seen her work up here. Sometimes I use her artwork to open up my show. It depends on what she's in the mood to give me. And I have another daughter who's 9. I want their lives to be for them, not for making families, not for anything. Go live your life. I am not the type of woman that I need. I already got 6 grandkids, and that's just from one child. That's just from my 33-year-old child, my 34-year-old child. So I still have a 26-year-old, a 25-year-old, a 20-year-old, and 9-year-old. I ain't pressed to see no extra damn babies. I want them to go get their education. hopefully through me and a couple of others that I recommended, and go explore this world. Go learn what I didn't have a chance to learn because I was in the preservation of family. And I'm just now getting into self preservation. So if I can teach them, my children, my star seeds, self preservation earlier than what I was taught, because I had no idea what self preservation was. All I had, and I came under Islam. My father was a Muslim. So they're truly into, they don't mind your education being neglected. So as a young Muslim woman coming up, my education being neglected was not a problem for my pops. Why? Because I took care of the family. I took care of the family until the day he died because I did hospice for him while I was pregnant with my second child until the day he died. Family preservation. So I was preserving my family all the way up until my father passed. And I put myself and my baby at risk doing that because he's autistic now because of me not caring for myself enough, me not having enough self preservation, and me allowing my family to get away with bullshit and not come care for their own father. So, me as the oldest daughter was left to care for my dying father who was in hospice. And I had three younger siblings that ain't have shit better to do that did not once come help me. And I love my siblings, but I'm going to put you on blast street because this live is important. My siblings did not come help me. My mother and my stepmother helped me care for my father in hospice until the doctor told me I had to go sit my ass down. I wasn't going to have no baby. So yes, we are taught as Black women to preserve the family, and your family will use you to fuck up. Don't be afraid to say no. Now, what I'm not going to say no to is when my mother, whenever her transition time comes, I'm caring for my mother because I do not trust. No, no. Um, I would trust they would put her in a home, but I do not trust that they would care for my mother. She's a Scorpio and she's a pistol, and she haven't get they don't get nicer as they get older, so to speak. So yeah, even with my estrangement from my mother, I know I'm going to be the one to give her her hospice care. So that's still a form of family preservation. So this is the time where I'm building up my skills as a herbalist, as a first responder. You can always continue to build those skills because you have family to care for. So I'm, as a form of self-preservation, I'm going to do the hospice for my mother should she need it. Right now, I don't see her, I'm not wishing that on her. I'm just saying that these are what we as Black women go through in the family that some people might not be aware of or they just take it for granted. So, through all of these things that I know that I have to do within my lifetime, where do I start preserving myself? What steps do I take to say, I've got a big job ahead of me, maybe in 30 years? How do I keep myself preserved, self preservation, so that when I hit these, um, not obstacles, what would you call them? Just occasions, these space and opportunity where events where good works have to be put out, where I won't be drained because now I've learned how to preserve myself mentally, emotionally, mind, body, and soul. So we have to figure out as Black women, how do we preserve the self? What keeps us in bliss so that we can move forward through into the future? Because what we want to do is move through form, out of form, and back into form. We want to move out of form, through form, and back into form. Now, what does that look like for us? And that's what it means to say we are responsible for the power, for all of the things that we want to see in the realm. I can give you a part of my witch's brew, my sorcerer's brew, so to speak, that has helped me. But in the end, you got to make up your own recipe of self preservation. And that's what these books are about. See, I have the book of Selima. I've shown you my diaries, my book. And my diaries, they're going to be for anybody in my family to open up and say, wow, this information is phenomenal. And that the information within these books that I've created, called the Book of Selima, is going to be valuable to my family. They're going to have ideas that they can have money making ideas on out of those books. They're going to have the knowledge of the education I'm going to provide the new realm out of these books. Because when the black man finished floundering, trying to reincorporate the colonial education, they're going to come to the goddess. All I got to do is sit back and watch them do what they're going to do. But as the goddess already know, we have a curriculum that ties the people back to the land. And see, that's the thing about man. Man wants to create curriculum and preserve the people that moves them forward into technology. But the great goddess and mother, we know that that's not the way. We have the curriculum that's going to tie our people back to their realm, because that's the real education. If you're not studying the continents, the food, the herbs, the animals, what grows, you're not educating yourself. You're only giving yourself the education of the beast, which is technology, a medical, military, judicial, political, and all of those have tortured us for the last 1,000 or so years. So we have to be wary about the men who want to be in control of the curriculum of the realm, because they just want to continue to use the devices of the beast. Whereas the Great Mother, we're going to use the self-preservation curriculum, because that's who I am. I am a self-preserved being. I have self-preservation. When I go into distress, I know how to save myself. I don't call out, I don't know Jesus. I don't know Allah. None of them ever came to my aid in my time of need, in my mother's time of need. None of them came to our aid in when we being hanged. It's all this, no, no. That's idolatry. And you cannot preserve yourself based on idol. They put a man on the cross and say this is real. But if you put it down, how real is he? If you put it down, how much power does it have? It has none. The only power that it has is the power that you give your mind, body, and soul to it that says, I believe in this. Well, that's what self-preservation is. That woman on the screen, I see me. I believe in you. I love you. You hear me? That's self-preservation. Walking around with false idols, ankhs and crosses and all this other, that is not self-preservation. You're investing in an entity outside of self. And anytime you're investing in an entity outside of yourself, where you feel like you got to learn how to know that entity so that you can be all right, instead of learning self so that you can be all right, we've got cognitive dissonance. And if you don't want cognitive dissonance, Study the self. Self-preservation is study thyself. And I'm going to keep repeating it over and over again. This is what these videos are about. Because when the great divide, and the great divide is happening, the divide between men and women, the divide between the children and the parents. What are they calling this? Where they separate from narcissistic parents and children, separate from the family members, uh, decentering men. I mean, it's just so many divides out here. Uh, People are talking about the blackout party for the celebrities. About fucking time. Way over fucking due. So the Great Divide doesn't look like the Bible movie with Moses to, let my people pass part. No, this is the Sea Party. Yeah, the Great Divide between men and women. The Great Divide between women and children was no contact. You got the no contact. You got decentering men. You got the 4B. You got all of this. Now you got the block party where these people are really ready to get these celebrities out of their pockets. How you worth millions and millions of dollars, but you asking us to donate something? So I'm here for it. I'm here for the Great Divide. This is the Great Divide. All these movements is the Great Divide. And use this Great Divide to preserve self. Self-preservation. Get your knowledge up, ladies. Not just the soulful part. Get your lawful knowledge up. Get your herbal knowledge up. I will be doing some herbalism classes soon. I see a lot of people on here teaching herbalism that is frightening to me. I think I have a biggest problem with herbalism is that people are quick to give people in distress a lot of bunch of herbs mixed together. That's no. When you are ill, and I mean ill to the point where you're in and out the hospital, you shouldn't be taking no big mix of herbs. You should be taking one herb at a time to see how your body reacts to it. Yes, one herb at a time. And a lot of herbalism ain't what you think. Half the stuff is our food. It ain't no freaking herb. It's your freaking food that you're supposed to be eating, honestly, and you're not eating it because you've been told it's tea just to make you feel better. Actually, it is the meal you should be eating so you won't need tea. So yeah, these are the things of self-preservations that I want to talk to the black woman about, honestly, because these are the things I know that we've been through as young black women. We have been the backbone of the black family for the longest time. We were and still are often the other parent in our families, be it to our sisters' children, our brothers' children, whatever it may be. And now is the time for us to study self so that we can forge our own paths. For those of us that have been fortunate to make it past the family preservation, now I can look forward to more family preservation without feeling used and abused, if that makes sense. Because when you as a woman start feeling used and abused by your family, like every time they need you, you're there for them, but every time you need something, all of a sudden it's like you need to get out of that circle. Get out of that circle. So I was fortunate. My family, yeah, I was fortunate. Yeah, I'm going through that now. So pretty soon, I think it'll be October to be a year of no contact with certain family members. And honestly, It has been one of the best things that has happened to me. I have more peace. I don't feel disapproval like this. Like when you're the black sheep of the family, and they talk about this and political, and you're all beyond that. So, and anytime you want to speak up, there's disapproval because you're not about any of the shit they're talking about. You know what I mean? So yeah, I really like that because when you're the black sheep of the family, it's almost like having a spouse that you always got to be wary of. Like no matter what you do, or say this nigga ain't never happy. Like you got to get away from him. And sometimes that's what black women are to their families. Like we're the black sheep. We do all the work. We raised everybody, but now we're considered we don't have any tangibles unless the bullshit that our families run on us after they use us. So, and when you're away from your family, it felt like I didn't have a belligerent spouse over me. Now I could talk the way I wanted to talk, think about all the things I wanted to think about, and really enjoy myself, my mind. Because when you're a phenomenal being, you love what you think, how you think about the world, how you think about yourself. You don't want anybody really to intrude on those thoughts. And that's what your family can do sometimes. Like self preservation also means, you know what? Because I've been taking care of my family, I haven't gotten the education I might have needed. I haven't done this, I haven't done that. And a lot of times my family would throw that in my way. Well, you could have, well, okay, I've been raising everybody babies. So, like, fuck y'all. So when you do get the time to like really pull back, and take that inventory of self and start growing on the parts of you that you want so that you can have self preservation. Because self preservation shouldn't just come about if you're being attacked physically and you're fighting for your life. For me, that's never been a problem. But self preservation in the big living sphere of living, like what qualities do I have? Like besides being a caretaker, besides being the good girl, the good one in the family, you know. So yeah, this was really for my older women who were the caretakers of siblings and really had to do the do so that we could keep our families intact. This is a time of self-preservation. And this was what the lives that I was doing with the goddess and Charbet, the goddess Charbet, who was a wonderful artist. I love this goddess, and the goddess Yasini. That these are the keys to success. Stop, take a breath, take a break, take inventory. You are a phenomenal fucking woman to do what you did, to do what you have done, and to do what you continue to do. That is going to be a part of the self preservation for Black women. Stop and take a break. Take a nap. Do what you need to do. Pat yourself on the back, even if nobody else appreciates what you've done for them. Pat yourself on the back and realize that once the family becomes adults, whether they end up in a good place or a bad place, you have done your job and you did it the best you can do. Now, for me, as a woman, knowing that my education was lacking while I was raising my children and that there were certain things that I did not know and was not able to teach my children that now at this age I can, which is why I make these videos and which is why I also have an open door policy for my family because I know this world be kicking their ass sometime and they need to come home, rejuvenate, and get some of the knowledge. But often I tell them, don't bring your ass to me. Go to my page and go look up some of that shit. It's right there, you know. And I send them to specific people for what they're specifically looking for that knowledge in. I don't know. Like I said, my children are very diverse. I have generational children, so their all needs are all different. My 9-year old doesn't need what my 33, 34-year old needs, okay? And that's also a part of self-preservation. Am I leaving a legacy for my children? Not that my children are my legacy, but am I creating a legacy for my children so that no matter what mistakes they make as parents, they have these videos and they have these books that I've created that can archive and really help them and say, hey, moms, okay, yes, that's the legacy. Am I willing to continue to parent even after my children become grown? Because that's not easy. That is not easy. So, how do we self preserve when everybody around us still needs us into adulthood? Now, grandchildren are here. Do what you got to do to self preserve. So, I will always tell you when it comes to self preservation, that is your own, you create the directions for your self preservation. I created directions for my self preservation. Okay. So you have to be aware of what you really want and desire in life. And don't be fucking afraid to admit it. I don't give a fuck what it is, who doesn't approve of it. If you deny yourself anything that your heart is aching for, you are denying yourself. Admit that you love it, you like it, you miss it, you don't want to live without it. I heard I don't even like this guy, but Future, he's a rapper, and he said, I don't compromise my passions. And the real people that make it, they don't. So don't compromise what you're passionate about. If you want to preserve yourself, do not compromise the things that you're passionate about when it comes to the mind, body, and soul. Because there is no preservation of the family if you fall. Remember that. So I don't want to preserve the family at the sacrifice of self. That is not what I'm here for. I want to live out my passions. And I can only do that by going against the fucking grain of what everybody else says is right or wrong. My passion is always the opposite of the rest of this shit. That's the best way I can tell you, you know. Yeah, my passions are always the opposite of what other people want. So I'm never offended anymore when I don't get invited because they already know. My family knows that I don't like that. They know I'm not going to come. So why put that burden on them? Hey, you guys never invite me. So come on, let's not be double minded either in our self preservation. We got to go make our own fun. We got to go make our own dance parties. We got to go make our own movies. If I put together everything I did last year, just alone to this year, it would be a fucking phenomenal movie. I'm a fucking phenomenal person. So that's a part of self-preservation. Can you look in the mirror and say, damn, you're a fucking phenomenal person? Like, I really like you, you know. Um, yeah. Let's live in bliss. So to the indigenous woman, aka black woman, let's start preserving the self. What are your fucking passions? Do not compromise on it. My passion is fucking knowledge. More knowledge and more knowledge. And go live out. Go use it. You know, that's all I can do right now is gain the knowledge and go use it. And you know, just keep doing what I do. So I didn't want to make this live too long. I just realized that there were not a lot more nuances to being aka the indigenous black woman, and that we've been through so much more than what people realize. That, like, some of these conversations are so topical. But when we come to what we call accountability and looking ourselves in the mirror, these are the stories of our lives that make up who we are. And we want to put our feet where we're welcome. We want our path to lead us to places where we're celebrated. We want our path to lead us to places where we can enjoy just being ourselves. And that's a part of self-preservation. And these are also the keys of good health. So in the realm of the mind, body, and soul, start taking inventory of yourself, Black woman. Pat yourself on the back for everything that you feel like you've accomplished. Fuck these other motherfuckers that feel like what you've accomplished ain't shit. That's just for them to keep you down. Pat yourself on the back, enjoy your accomplishments, and get ready to build more. Get ready to take those next steps and realize also that in self preservation, there's no path. There's no path. Every step you take, there will not be a fucking trail for you. You are going to make the trail. So, peace and love to my to all everybody, to my students, to my teachers. I love you all. Thank you all for coming in and enjoying this live. I hope Black women you got something out of this. Make a journal. Journal about your experiences about having to forcefully preserve your family. And then we can start taking the steps to learn how to do self preservation so we can move into this next forever summer, forever spring life that we've been promised. Yeah, let's get that off our shoulders, you know? So, like I said, peace and love. I love you all. Check me out on my Facebook page, Salima Ellis. That's where this post came from. That's where this live came from. I was doing my self reflection. Check me out also on my school page, uh, Universal Mind School of Evolution. And I believe I got a couple of new posts on that page too. You can also check me out on Instagram. I still have not made one video on Instagram, but I did post some new stuff. Enjoy, comment, you like and subscribe. Hit that Cash App. I appreciate it. And I hope this was useful for any beautiful Indigenous woman out there. I love y'all. Self preservation is key. You've done your job. You are your job now. I love y'all.